Hey folks, Captain Klutch here, once again playing some more Euro Truck Simulator. Today we are way up in the northern reaches of Russia, as you can tell, and we're going to be doing a bit of a review on the RusMap DLC package, mod map package, as well as the Russia open spaces area. So I will be discussing exactly how you install these mods into your game. And yeah, we'll be showing off kind of what you get once you have them installed. I mean, this is a lot of content to be looking at for sure. There's a ton of things here that you can look at and do and drive, and it's actually pretty incredible the amount of size you got here. But yeah, so stay tuned. We'll take a look at this stuff and we'll get down to brass tacks on it all. Make sure you do hit that subscribe button, guys. Would appreciate that, and I will see you after the break.
Klutch Simulations.
So we'll start this review over on the Russian Open Spaces map mod. So as you can see, we're fairly far north. We've got snow-covered tundra. Yeah, the Russian Open Spaces areas take more of the eastern side of Russia, I suppose, whereas the Rus pack is more of the western side, right up against the mainland of Europe. So this map pack tends to have a lot more long-distance driving in comparison to any of the other map packs, for that matter. So you will find some cities like you can see here. However, for the majority of the time you'll be spending in Russian open spaces, you'll be on long highways such as this, with very little to see other than just the tundra beside you and the odd gas station, basically. There is just mile after mile of driving you can do in this. Now, not to say that it's not all uninteresting and it's all straight or anything along those lines. There's definitely a lot of scenery to be seen, and they did do their best, it seems, to make the roadways not just follow a straight line. I don't think that there's really any straight lines for the most part. It's usually you might go a kilometer in a straight line, it seems like, and then all of a sudden it changes directions, and there's a mountain or something you have to go around, or a pass that kind of winds its way through a small little valley that you take on. However, the only straight stretches you will run into tend to be like a lumber camp area along those lines. Now also you'll find a few of these almost challenges along the map. As you can see, this bridge here has got boards that don't really line up all that great, and if you happen to miss, now mind me what, this is sped up 200%, if you happen to miss, your tires can fall through the cracks and you can get stuck. I don't know, trying to cross this with a trailer would be pretty tough. Now, the AI doesn't have to deal with the same issues you do, obviously, but yeah, I was completely stuck on this bridge at one point in time. I couldn't get off of it. You'll also find several other areas with snow-covered roads, such as this. And once again, kind of rough travel makes it a little more interesting. Definitely interesting to mess around with this kind of type of area, and cool scenery to see. Now, as you move south, the roadways and the density does change a little bit, and the actual quality of the map will change as well. So, as you get past and out of the snow tundra area, there tends to be a little more detail on each of the maps. Now, I'm sure the snow probably did account for some of the problems they ran into with the development of these areas, but there does tend to be a little bit more things to see, a little more buildings between cities, and to be honest, I guess that'd be more likely in the real world as well. So as you're driving down, you're going to find a lot more buildings, a lot more gas stations even, and just lakes and things to drive around. The scenery does tend to get a little bit better, and it's noticeable. The one interesting thing of the Russian Open Spaces map mod is the developers did take a little bit of a freedom in some of the development areas, I guess I should say. It's like, for instance, when you're driving into some cities, you may find a group of people congregated at a station or something, and they'll be blaring Russian music. You'll find chainsaws blaring at certain areas. There's a certain military bases to find as well. It's kind of interesting. Now, what can you say about the RusMap stuff? I mean, really, it's right on par with the base game and in the ProMods stuff. There is a slight less level of detail to certain areas, and just a little bit less polish. But generally speaking, you will not be able to tell the difference between RusMap, ProMods, or the base game, even for that matter. There are a few more military installations and monuments around the city areas. That might be one of the key points to it all. But I mean, in the grand scope of things, it looks identical to almost anything else you're going to find in the base game. Definitely worth checking out. So you've made it this far. I think it's time we just go and show you exactly how you install and the order you put these mods in your mod folder. We've done a whole video on this before. I'll put that in the card above. However, this one will be just kind of a quick rundown on exactly how you install these mods, and we'll look at how the map changes depending on which mods you've got. Alright guys, so this here is the base map. All DLC, but no ProMods and no RusMap stuff. RusMap, I should say. So you can see we have, there's England, there's the Scandinavian countries, Germany, and yeah, Budapest down below, and then Italy. So this is all our DLC. So this is what you would have without any other mods, as you can see. And if I zoom right out again, it's yeah, it's fairly condensed, and that's what you got. Alright, so we've loaded in the ProMods maps, as we saw previously done in another video there. I'll make sure I link that above, but this is how your ProMods set should look like. ProMods maps, assets, definitions, media, package 1, 2, and 3, and then underneath that you'll put your trailers, the ProMods trailer package, if you elect to download those as well. So we'll take a quick look on how that looks. So here's our map with ProMods installed. As you can see, we have all the way up to Iceland, some northern areas here, Longyearbyen way at the top, more Scandinavian stuff over along this eastern side, and then we scroll all the way down and we have some stuff over in Greece, and even down here we've got Spain. So it's kind of all around the base map. They've increased everything, give you a lot more options. And make sure you hit the card up top there. It'll point you towards my city review of a lot of the ProMod cities. So if you're looking for information on those particular cities, there's a quick couple of reviews on about 20 of the better cities of the ProMods Map Pack. But what we're looking for today is over here. Where's Minsk? Where's Moscow? Where's St. Petersburg? So let's bring those up, and we'll get those installed now, because this is looking pretty barren over this way. So let's do that next. Alright, so now that we have ProMods installed, it's time to install RusMap. So this will give us some of the cities on the western side of Russia, I should say. So you've got 4 files that you're going to get from the RusMap downloads. This is the order you're going to want them in. RusMap Map Package, Model 2 Package, Model Package, and the Def Package. So that's all 4 of them. The only other thing you're going to need is this here, ProMods 2.30 plus RusMap 1.81 road connection. So this is just going to give you a road connection kit, basically allow you to run ProMods 2.30 and the RusMap packages together, and they will connect. That's all that does. But you'll need to make sure that that's above pretty much all these map mods. So with RusMap installed, now you can see we have a few more cities and more roads that are populating kind of the eastern side of Europe here. Now we're obviously moving into Russia with a lot of this stuff, so we've got some stuff down here, Minsk and Moscow, we've got St. Petersburg. Yeah, so it's definitely starting to fill out a little bit more, and some really great highways to drive through in here and explore on. So that's what we've got for the RusMap. Last but not least, let's go check out the open spaces and see what that does. Alright, moving on to open spaces. So this map pack is going to give you once again 5 different packs or different files for your folder. These are with all of them right here. And this is the order you're going to want to make sure they're in. So you've got open spaces vehicle truck, open spaces vehicle, open spaces map, and the open spaces model. Now all 5 of these are going to go below your ProMods map pack, and I've got them between the ProMods trailer map pack, or trailer pack I should say. So that's the order you're going to have these in. Now there's also one other file you're going to need in order to get this to work, and it's up at the top here. So this here is called the RusMap version 1.8 fix. So that's going to go above almost all these maps, to be honest. Yeah, it's above everything else. And if we take a look in here, it's just going to tell you it's just a connection point between version 1.8 and the open spaces pack. So if you look at the map that's included on the thumbnail here, you can see that includes, that gives you some roadways or some ferry paths to get up into some of these areas. Unfortunately right now the connection point mod or map for the roadways down in the southern section over here into Russia is not working, so you'll need to use this one in order to get up there for the time being. I assume that once the 1.32 is put out for public release, that they'll have a fix for all this, but until then this is what we're going to be using. Alright, Alright, so we've got the Russian Open Spaces map pack installed, and as you can see, it is absolutely huge. Like, you can't even fit it all on the map. I can't scroll over far enough to see all the cities, so if I zoom in, you can kind of get a better idea. So this was kind of on the edge, and you've got still like a couple thousand kilometers over here to the east that you can't even see on the map. Like, it is an absolutely ridiculous large map. I mean, this here area is probably this times 1.5 almost. So it is thousands of miles that you can drive if you'd like. Now, the one problem with the RusMap Open Spaces, not RusMap, sorry, just the Open Spaces Russia map pack, is that there is not a lot of cities. You could be literally driving for an hour without running across another city. So the cities are few and far between, and they tend to be, the farther north you get, the smaller they get. I mean, I guess that's realistic in a sense. The one nice thing, even though it is a long distance between all these cities, the roads actually tend to be fairly interesting to drive. Now, there's not a lot to see, a lot of them, but they're not straight lines either. As you can see, most of these roads are actually fairly curvy, and they're not straight by any means. There's actually like no straight stretches. So that's one of the positives to be had by it. And there's a lot of elevation changes as well, which is kind of nice. So it's not quite like the coast-to-coast stuff in American Truck, where it's just a kind of almost a straight line or very minor curves, and you just have grass on both sides. All these have like fairly well-treed areas. You feel like you're driving through a forest on a lot of them, but it's just a lot of driving to get between cities, unfortunately. So that there is the open spaces stuff, and then if you scroll down here, we can kind of see, let's see, this is the issue we're having with the connection right now. So there's no current connection with the open spaces map and the RusMap stuff. With this version, they haven't got a mod that's been updated to connect these two. And that's what the 1.8 fix was for. So there's the one mod pack that we spoke about earlier that will give you a fix that will allow you to have ferry terminals that to kind of connect in. So I believe they come from, is it St. Petersburg? It looks like there's one here, so you can see the dashed line that goes up, and it connects into like right in this area here. And there's a couple others that go up further up to the top, I believe. So that will give you a connection point in. There's no actual roadways to connect in. You do need to take a ferry right now to get into open spaces. I personally prefer to stay down south in St. Petersburg and all along the western side of Russia, just because there's just more cities, and I find that more interesting. I'm not really into driving hundreds and thousands of kilometers without seeing anything, just seeing the woods. So I usually stick it down over here, and haven't done too much up on this side yet. But if that's what your jam is, then by all means, I mean, there's, once again, thousands of clicks you can get into it. Well guys, that should about do it for this review on the RusMap and Open Spaces Russia map packs. I'm pretty impressed with both of them. I think they're both pretty interesting and fairly different too, to be honest with you. Great to give it a quick shot. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Give it a shot for yourselves. Otherwise guys, do remember to hit that subscribe button. We got lots of content coming out here daily, and we're actually doing some live streams as well, so I'd love to hear back from you there. Otherwise guys, make sure you drive fast, take chances, and I'll see you out the road. Peace.